We start topology. In mathematics, topology is concerned with the properties of geometric objects that are preserved under continuous deformation, such as stretching, twisting, crumpling, and bending. A topological space is a set endowed with structure called a topology, which allows defining continuous deformation of subspaces and more generally all kinds of continuity Euclidean spaces and more generally metric spaces. General topology is a branch of topology dealing with the basic set theoretic definitions and construction used in topologies. It is the foundation of most other branches of topology, including a differential topology, geometric topology, and algebraic topology. Another name for general topology is point set topology. The basic object of study is topological spaces, which are sets equipped with a topology. That is a family of subsets called open sets, which is closed under finite intersections and unions. The fundamental concepts of topology, such as continuity, compactness, and connectedness, can be defined in terms of open sets. So we study all this step by step in this paper. So today in this video we introduce some important concepts like index sets, Cartesian product, finite set, infinite set, countable sets, uncountable sets. We'll discuss these things in this video. So first definition, index sets. Let script A be a non-empty collection of sets, and indexing functions for script A is surjective function f from set J called an index set to script A. The collection script A with the indexing function f is called an indexed family sets. So script A be a non-empty collection of sets means this script A contains non-empty collection of sets, and indexing function for script A is onto function f from set J to script A called an index set. This is called an index set to script A. The collection script A with this indexing function f is called an indexed family of sets, and we denote indexed family of set by the symbol script A suffix alpha, where alpha belongs to J, or simply as script A suffix alpha. So here alpha belongs to J, where J is what? Some set. So this is definition for index set. Let small m be a positive integer given a set X. We define an m tuple of elements of X to be a function X from the set 1, 2 up to and so on small m to X. So this is the definition of m tuple. This we studied in linear algebra also. What is tuples? N tuples. The function X itself is denoted by the symbol x1, x2 up to and so on xm. So this function is defined as x of 1 is equals to something imaged. So the function x itself is denoted by the symbol x1, x2 up to xm. Now what is meant by Cartesian product? So in group theory we have already discussed this concept, Cartesian product. Let the set A1, A2 up to and so on Am be a family of sets indexed with the set 1, 2 up to and so on M. Let capital X is equals to A1 union A2 union Am. So capital X is union of all these A1, A2 and AM, where A1, A2, AM are family of sets indexed with the set 1, 2 up to M. So it means A1 is index set, A2 is index set, and AM is index set. We define the Cartesian product of these indexed family denoted by product I varies from 1 to M AI. So that is, if we expand this gives A1 times A2 times up to and so on AM. So this is a Cartesian product, and this product to be the set of all M tuples x1, x2, xm of elements of X such that xi belongs to AI. So this x1 up to xm, this M tuples belongs to this product I varies from 1 to M AI. This is the element of this set product AI, where x1 belongs to A1, x2 belongs to A2, up to and so on, xm belongs to AM. So this is a M tuple. Now what is meant by finite set? A set is said to be finite if there is a bijective correspondence of A with some section of the positive integers. That is, A is finite if it is empty if there is a bisection F from set A to set 1, 2 up to n, where n is positive integer. So finite set, when we say that A is finite set, if we define a bisection means 1, 1 on to correspondence from set A to the set 1, 2 up to and so on n, then we say that A is finite set, and this F is bijective mapping, means here we can map F as 1, 1 and onto. F is both 1, 1 and onto. In this case we say that A is finite set. So next, infinite set. A set A is said to be infinite if it is not finite. It is said to be countably infinite if there is bijective correspondence F from set A to Z plus. Z plus means set of all positive integers. So this set A is said to be countably infinite if there exists a mapping from set A to set of natural numbers or set of positive integers Z plus, which is bijective, means which is 1, 1 on 2. Then we say that A is countably infinite. So this is definition of countably infinite set. For example, Z plus, that is set of positive integers, or we say simply set of natural numbers. Also Q, set of rational numbers. These are countably infinite sets. These are countably infinite sets. So difference between finite sets and countably infinite sets. Finite sets means here A is said to be finite if we map A to this finite symbol 1, 2 up to n, and this mapping is 1, 1 and onto both. But in case of countably infinite or infinite set, this A maps on set of positive integers, and such mapping is 1, 1 and onto. So here codomain is finite, and here codomain is set of positive integer, which is infinite. So this is important concept, countably infinite set, and these are the examples. So difference between infinite and countably infinite sets. So every countable infinite set is infinite. So but can we say infinite set is countable infinite? No. Why? Let's see next definition. A set is said to be countable if it is either finite or countably infinite. So countable set means either it is finite or countably infinite. A set that is not countable is said to be uncountable. A set that is not countable is said to be uncountable. For example, C set of complex number, R set of real number, Q complement, that is set of irrational numbers. These are uncountable sets. Now, so if we think about cardinality of sets, so cardinality of generally cardinality of countable sets or countably infinite sets is Aleph naught. The cardinality of countable infinite set is Aleph naught, and cardinality of uncountable set is C, continuum number C. So countably infinite set is also infinite and uncountable sets are also infinite. If we see here example, R is infinite set and set of natural number is also infinite, set of irrational number is also infinite. So we cannot predict whether infinite set is countably infinite or uncountable. So this is the difference. So infinite set need not be countably infinite and infinite set need not be uncountable. We can't predict. Here I have some remarks. Finite unions and finite Cartesian products of finite sets are finite. If we take finite union of some finite sets, then that union is also finite. If we take Cartesian product of some finite sets, then it is also finite. So finite union of finite sets is finite and finite Cartesian product of finite sets is finite. If A is finite, then there is no bijection of A with a proper subset of A itself. So this statement says if A is finite set, then there does not exist any bijective map from A to its proper subset. A subset of countable set is countable. A subset of countable set is countable. Whether subset of uncountable set is uncountable need not be. Suppose if I take R set of real number is uncountable set, and if I take its subset, say set of positive integers Z plus, so we just now say Z plus is countably infinite set, means Z plus is countable set and it is subset of uncountable set. So that's why subset of uncountable set need not be uncountable. It may be countable or it may be uncountable. Whereas suppose if I take subset of R as Q complement, then it is uncountable. So we can't predict whether subset of uncountable set is countable or uncountable in generally. A countable union of countable set is countable. A countable union of countable set is countable. So if you take some, suppose if I have given some countable sets and I take countable union of that sets, then it is also countable. So whether superset of countable set is countable, whether superset of uncountable set is uncountable, whether superset of uncountable set is countable. So let's see. Superset of countable set need not be countable. Suppose if I take set of rational number Q, this is a countable set. Its superset is set of real number which is uncountable. So superset of countable sets need not be countable. It may be uncountable, it may be countable. For suppose if I take set of natural number z plus, that is set of positive integer, which is a subset of set of integers. So that's why it supersets. Superset is set of rational number which is countable. That's why supersets of countable set need not be countable, need not be uncountable. But superset of uncountable set is uncountable. This we have to prove. Okay. So remember, superset of uncountable set is uncountable. A finite product of countable set is countable. Finite product of countable set is countable. The set z plus times z plus is countably infinite. This set is countably infinite. So remember, the cardinality of countable set is LF0 and the cardinality of uncountable set is continuum number C. So here LF0 is less than C and 2 to the power LF0 is equals to C. So this is algebra of some countable numbers and uncountable numbers between. So next theorem, let A be a set, then the following statements about A are equivalent. There exist an injective functions f from z plus to A. Here A is any set, then the following statements are equivalent. First statement is there exists an injective function f from z plus to A. Second, there exists a bijection of A with a proper subset of itself. This implies A is infinite. So if I have given some set A, then and if there exists an 1 function f from z plus to A, so f from z plus to A is 1, then there also exists a bijection A with a proper subset of A itself. So here we have bijection f from A to its proper subset. So in general it is not true, we already discussed here. In earlier statement I said there does not exist a bijection from A to its proper subset where A is non-empty set, but here it is possible only when if there exists a 1 map from f from z plus to A, then we say that there exists a bijection of A with a proper subset of itself, and if this happens then your A must be infinite, and if A is infinite then there exists 1 function from f from z plus to A. So all these statements are equivalent. It means 1 implies 2, 2 implies 3, 3 implies 1, or 1 implies 3, or 2 implies 1, or 3 implies 2, whatever may be. So axiom of choice, given a collection of script A of disjoint non-empty sets, two sets are said to be disjoint if they have no common elements. Suppose I have taken two sets A and B, then these two sets A and B are said to be disjoint if their intersection is empty set, means they have no common elements. So given a collection script A of disjoint non-empty sets, then there exists a set C consisting of exactly one element from each element of script A. So there exists a set C consisting of exactly one element from each element of script A. So here script A contains which elements? Here script A contains all non-empty sets, and C contains exactly one element from this script A. That is a set C such that C is contained in the union of elements of script A. A set C such that C is contained in the union of the elements of script A, and For each A belongs to script A, the set C union A contains a single element. The set C union A contains a single element. This is a axiom of choice. Well-ordered sets. A set A with an ordered relation less than is said to be well ordered if every non-empty subset of A has the smallest element. So any set with order relation this is said to be well ordered if every non-empty subset of A contains smallest element, then we say that that set is well ordered set. For example, Z plus is an well ordered set. Why? If you take any its subset, then it has the smallest element. Also, the set of integers is not well ordered, because suppose, why it is not well ordered? Suppose if I take some subset of Z integer as minus, suppose if I take some subset like -1, -2, -3 up to and so on. So here smallest element does not exist because -1 is greater than -2, -2 is greater than -3. So smallest element doesn't exist. That's why the set of integer is not well ordered set. So I have found counter example which disprove that set of integer is well ordered. The set Z plus times Z plus is well ordered set in the dictionary order. This set Z plus times Z plus is well ordered set in the dictionary order. Now there are some remarks. If A is well ordered set, then any subset of A is well ordered in the restricted ordered relation. If A and B are well ordered set, then the Cartesian product A times B is well ordered in the dictionary order. Means Cartesian product of two well ordered sets is again well ordered in the dictionary order. Every non-empty finite ordered set has the order type of a section, the set 1, 2 up to and so on n of Z plus, that is set of positive integer, so that it is well ordered. If A is a set, then there exists an order relation on A, that is well ordering. That less than equal to symbol is called order relation. So if A is a set, then there exists an order relation on A, that is well ordering. This is important remark. There exists an uncountable well ordered sets. So there exists uncountable number of well ordered sets. So these things are very important. So we discuss in this video Cartesian products, finite sets, countable and uncountable sets, infinite sets, and axiom of choice, also well ordered sets. Now in next video we start the definition of topological spaces, then basis for a topology, also order topology, etc. So in this course we discuss continuous function, metric topology, connected spaces, connected subspaces of a real line, components and local connectedness, also compact spaces, compact subspaces of real line, then limit point of compactness, also local compactness, and also countability axiom, separation axioms, normal spaces, Euritian's lemma, and the Euritian's metrization theorem. So these things we have to discuss in this course. Thank you.